I ride an old paint, I lead an old Dan. I'm going to Montana for to throw the hula hand. You feed in the coolies and they water in the draw. Their tails are all matted and their backs are all raw. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. The fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. Now old Bill Jones had 2 daughters and a song. One went to Denver and the other went wrong. His wife got killed in a pool room fight. He sings this song come morning, come night. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. The fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. Now when I die, take my saddle from the wall, put it on my pony, lead him out of the stall. Tie my bones to his back, turn our faces to the west. We'll ride the prairies we've always loved best. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. The fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. The fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. As I was out walking one morning for a pleasure, spied a young cowpuncher riding along. His hat was throwed back, his spurs was a jingle. As he approached, he was singing this song. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's early in the springtime, we round up the doggies, mark 'em and we brand 'em and we bob off their tails. Round up the horses and load the chuck wagon, throw them little doggies right out on the trail. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's whooping and yelling and driving the doggies. Oh, how I wish that they would go on. It's whooping and a punching, go on, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's early in the springtime, we round up the doggies, mark 'em and we brand 'em and we bob off their tails. Round up the horses and load the chuck wagon, throw them little doggies right out on the trail. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopee-tie-I-O, get along, little doggies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's whooping and yelling and driving the dogies. Oh, how I wish that they would go on. It's whooping and a punch and go on, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Whoopie-tie-I-O, get along, little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoopie-tie-I-O, get along, little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. Eyes like the morning star, cheeks like the rose. Laura was a pretty girl, everybody knows. Weep all you little rains, wail winds wail, all along, the Colorado Trail. Ride through the lonely night, roll through the day. Keep that big herd moving on, moving on its way. Weep all you little rains, wail winds wail, all along, along, along the Colorado Trail. Rainy, the lonely night, dark is the sky. Wish I was in Abilene, nice and warm and dry. Weep all you little rains, wail winds wail, all along, along, along the Colorado Trail, all along, along, along the Colorado Trail. Colorado Trail. and around town I was spending my time. I was out of a job and not earning a dime. Fella stepped up and he said, I suppose you're a bronc rider by the looks of your clothes. Well, he figures me right, I'm a good one, I claim. Did you happen to have any bad ones to tame? Said I got one and a mean one to buck. For throwing good riders, he's had lots of luck. Well, he offers me 10 and I says I'm your man. The bronc he ain't living that I cannot fan. Bronc never tried and he never drew breath. I cannot ride till he starts plumb to death. So he says, get your saddle, I'll give you a chance. So he hops in the buckboard and we drives to the ranch. Very next morning, right after Chuck, I stepped out to see if this outlaw could buck. Down in the horse corral, standing alone, was an old caballo, a strawberry roan. Had little pin ears that touched at the tip. He had a big 44 brand on his left hip. He was spavined all around and he had pigeon toes, little pig eyes, and a big Roman nose. He was ewe-necked and old with a long lower jaw. You could tell with one eye it was a regular outlaw. Well, I got the blinds on him, it was a terrible fight. I cinched down the saddle and I girded it tight. Then I steps on him and they raises the blind. I look out, boys, he's gonna unwind. Well, he bowed his own neck and I'll say he unwound. Ceased to quit living down here on the ground. Goes up in the east and comes down in the west. And me in my saddle is to doing my best. Well, he sure was a frog walker and he heaved a big sigh. He only lacked wings for to be on the fly. He turned his old belly right up to the sun. Sure was a sun-fishing son of a gun. He's about the worst bronco I've seen on the range. He can land on a nickel and hand you the change. Goes up on all fours, comes down on his side. I don't see how I kept from losing my hide. I lost my saddle and I lost my hat. I was pulling at leather and I was blind as a bat. With one phenomenal jump, he made a high dive. Left me a-winding up there in the sky. Well, he turned 40 flips and I come down to earth. I laid there a-cussin' the day of my birth. I know there are ponies I cannot ride. Some of them are living and they haven't all died. But I'll bet you $10 there ain't no man alive who can stay on old Strawberry when he makes his high dive. Ride around, little doggies, ride around real slow. Fiery and the snuffy are raring to go. Jolly cowboys discussing plans at ease, Says one, I'll tell you something, boys, if you will listen, please. I am an old cowpuncher, you see me dressed in rags, but I used to be a good one, boys, and I went on great big jags. I got a home, boys, a good one, you all know, although I haven't seen it since very long ago. Going back to Dixie once more to see them all. Going to see my mother when the work's all done this fall. When I left my home, boys, my mother for me cried. She begged me not to go, boys, for me she would have died. Mother's heart is aching, breaking, for me that's all. But with God's help I'll see her when the work's all done this fall. Oh, listen to the tale of the old Irish harper. Scorn not the strains of his old withered hands. Remember those fingers, they once could move sharper to raise up the strains of his dear native land. How I long to muse on the days of my boyhood. 83 years have fled by then. It's a keen, sweet reflection that every young joy for the merry-hearted boys make the best of old men. At a fair or a wake, I would twist my shillelagh, dance through the fields with me brogues tied with straw, and all the pretty colleens around me would gather and call me Beau Phelim Brady, the Bard of Armagh. Then beat the drum slowly and play the fife lowly, play the Dead March as you carry me along. Take me to the Green Valley, lay the sod o'er me. I am Beau Phelim Brady, a Bard of Armagh. And when Sergeant Death in his cold arms embraces lulled me to sleep with an Erin cobra by the side of sweet Kathleen, my dear bride, oh place me, and forget Phelim Brady, the Bard of Armagh. For in truth I have wandered this wide world over, yet Ireland's my home and a blessing to me. And let the old sod that my old bones shall cover be the sod that is trod by the feet of the free. And then beat a drum slowly and play the fife lowly, play the Dead March as you carry me along. Take me to the Green Valley, lay the sod o'er me. I am Beau Phelim Brady, a Bard of Armagh. As I walked out on the streets of Laredo, as I walked out in Laredo one day, I spied a young cowboy all dressed in white linen, wrapped up in white linen and cold as the clay. I see by your outfit that you are a cowboy. These words he did say as I boldly stepped by. Come sit down beside me and hear my sad story. I'm shot in the breast and I'm going to die. Then beat a drum slowly and play the fife lowly. Play the dead march as you carry me along. Take me to the green valley, lay the sod o'er me. I'm a young cowboy and I know I've done wrong. Oh, once in the saddle I used to go dashing. Once in the saddle I used to go gay. First to the dram house and then to the card house. I got shot in the breast and I'm dying today. Go gather around you a group of young cowboys. Tell them the story of this my sad fate. Tell one and the other before they go further. Stop your wild roving, boys, before it's too late. And we beat a drum slowly, and we played the fife lowly, and we bitterly wept as we bore him along. We all loved our comrade, so brave, young, and handsome. We all loved our comrade, although he'd done wrong.
You play Peter again, okay?